to OverDrive, off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, and up on TSN 4. Bryan Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan. What a night we have in store tonight.
Doogie Pritchard?
Doogie Pritchard, appreciate that. Thank you.
What is going on?
That's Doogie Pritchard.
You think he's going to make it?
Doogie Pritchard. Look at the keeper of the cup, Doogie. Just give us a full profile pick.
Yeah.
How does that not win?
That's an automatic winner. Call off the contest. Send Doogie down there on Saturday, and you've got a keeper of the cup.
No, that hair is brilliant,
You want
man.
the salad like that?
Yes, I want the salad like that.
Hair is a little bit more maintenance than that.
Well, it generally is, and what we're referencing, of course, is the Hockey Hall of Fame. Is they are going to honor the great Philip Pritchard, who's the keeper of the cup. Right?
They're having a keeper con.
Yes, a Stanley Cup keeper con on Saturday, and we're sending Doogie down, and we just gave you a sneak peek of who is going to win that on Saturday. Now, people are going to complain and say, you guys have a relationship with the Hall of Fame. There better not be any preferential treatment, and I don't anticipate that'll happen. I think they will be very, very dignified in terms of their analysis, and they will not be swayed.
I think they should have had us do a show from the Hall of Fame during the afternoon before a Leaf home game, and then you wheel people in. It could have been just
we could have had content. We could have been the judges.
No one talks about Philip Pritchard more than us. Like, nobody has done Philip Pritchard.
We actually could have been the judges.
Us.
Maybe they'll narrow it down to like 10 people.
What are we going to do? Ask people questions on why they should be the next?
I think that's very, very reasonable.
Larry King will go to work there.
I could absolutely do that. Yeah, no, and we're gonna have a Larry King moment later this afternoon. Stu Johnston's coming up, who's the commissioner of the Canadian Football League, who has been working here at TSN the whole time the three of us.
So what, you're going to go to town on him because he's not your boss anymore?
Yes, I'm going to go over my own personal reviews. 10 years ago, I asked you if I could do something, and you denied that request.
Now, was that a personal thing or a business decision?
Yeah, it's probably personal.
Yeah.
Probably personal. But yeah, Stu's coming up, and he had his introductory presser.
You have to ask Stu, when he called me to tell me, I said, Stu, do you want me to be your Bill Daly in somewhat of a serious fashion? And he had like this lip, and it was like, that's disgusting to even think about that.
That's not funny.
No.
Like, that's actually really not funny. I'm not in the mood for that kind of humor. But, Stu's coming up a little bit later on. We got Duthie in studio later this hour, and we got Game 3 tonight. Game 3, right? They got the towels out. What is it? Hype over heart, or heart over hype.
Yeah.
Has that always been a saying? Like, I've saw people in Ottawa, I saw online saying that's what the Sens have been using all year, is that slogan.
Yeah, there has been slogans. I probably should know this, having done 50 games for them. There has been slogans in the room, all of that type of stuff. I believe, and I don't want to speak out of turn, that was one of them for sure.
Okay, so there you go.
It's not something made up like, hey, we're just doing this tonight.
Because the Leafs had hype in one of their things, and people are saying, oh, they're reacting to that. If they are, I actually think that's not bad. I like that. Why not? But it's a towel. It's a rally towel.
Dude, the Sens, if they want to get back into this series, they have to slap the make-believes and knock them down, like, to get their attention. Look at what Minnesota Wild did in Game 2 of that series in Vegas. They at least showed Vegas, you're not gonna mow us over as easily as you thought. Or at least that's the perception they gave after smoking them in Game 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The Sens have to just forget about the refs and forget about, we came back and we didn't mind our 5-on-5 game. I think they gotta punch him and knock him down and say, think about that. At least plant the seed where the Leafs could say, man, if they throw it, because you do a lot of thinking in the playoffs. There's a game, there's a day off. A lot of times you don't practice, and there's a lot of thinking. Plant the seed where you say, man, if they throw another one like that at us, maybe we're in trouble. You got to obviously do or die, because you're going to get smoked if you lose to this one.
It is do or die. Tonight, you can't go down 3-cob. Like if you're the Ottawa Senate, you can't go down 3-cob because now you got to win 4 straight. So I think it is do or die in that essence. But you have to. I agree with you. A lot of times that day off in between, there is people thinking about the game. There's, we're teeing it up. The media's talking about. The fan bases are talking about it. So there is that 24-hour break before the next one, building it up. So you do have to give them something to think about. But in the end, towels, 5-on-5 play, all the lip speak and all that. It's about wins and losses.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just W or L. That's it.
And that's
however it arrives.
And the beauty of it is, if you're a Sens fan, you've been waiting for this for a long time. You obviously don't like the position they're in, but I think you can breathe a little bit easy. And I've been just reading some, people in Ottawa the last couple of days with they're a young team. They just made the playoffs. They're in tough. So, it's not that you're putting up the white flag, but there is an element of house money. They've made it. Like the big achievement this year was making the playoffs. But I think if you're in the room, that's clearly not your mentality. Like, this is big boy sports, man. These are grown men in there. They want to win. They do not want to lose. They don't want to get swept. They don't want to be in a position to do that. I expect a couple things to happen. At some point, Ottawa's going to score first. And I'd put some money on them scoring first tonight. And then it changes.
It's a must.
Exactly. It is a must. You can't allow the Leafs to continue to play with a lead and then be comfortable playing the way that they've been playing, which is defensively sound. They don't have to cheat. You got to put the Leafs in a position where they go into a third period and they're like, we got to take some gambles here.
Right.
We got to cheat, and then you can continue to expose that. But I expect a great effort from Ottawa tonight. I think Ullmark will certainly – he's got to have his best game. I mean, that goes without saying. He's got to play well. He's got to be there. But we've done this so many times over the years. The psychological hurdles that you go through in certain, portions of a series. And the Leafs have been down 3-1 a lot. They were down 3-1 in 2013. They were down 3-1, I believe, in 2018. They were down 3-1 at different times throughout these playoffs. And I can recall, I have deja vu sitting here saying this. If you win in that instance, Game 5, someone's got to be down 3-2 in the series.
Right.
If Ottawa wins tonight, someone's got to be down 2-1. And what I mean by that is if Ottawa wins, it doesn't matter what happened the first two games. Like, you're right back in the series.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it flips that quickly. Ottawa wins tonight, and it's 2-1. Ottawa goes home tonight, and they're like, someone had to be down 2-1. So what?
Well,
so what? How it happened, which game we won. We're just down 2-1, and we got a home game on Saturday night.
You're 100% right, because the narrative can go, and it comes back to the old saying, you're not really out of the match or out of the
series until you lose at home.
Until you lose at home. Exactly. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But that being said, they have to win this game.
Are you guys a particular game? I'm a big Game 3 guy. Everyone's got a different game, which is the most important.
It's like putting Game 7 aside, clearly.
Obviously.
Goes without saying.
We'll exclude Game 7. That was a dumb comment on a professional.
Apologies.
I like a Game 3. I kind of think it's like, especially tonight. If a team's down 2 Cobb, obviously Game 3 is
it's as big as it gets.
I think I agree 100%. Game 3 is the tell, because if you're Dallas, though, look what they did.
What a turn of events.
Like that.
What a turn of events.
If we don't play that Pete DeBoer interview after Game 1 where he had his feet up on the desk and he was like, they got a different team.
Well, look how they did it last night. Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin.
Yeah, the
score
old guard.
goals.
The old guard.
Ben
right?
ties it and Seguin in overtime.
But that's how you said the team
with no Heiskanen or Robertson.
That's right.
Right. That team.
Look at this big strong guy.
Mason Marshall. I'd rather Malgin.
Me too.
Personally, I'd rather Malgin.
Malgin's got speed, and he makes plays in the neutral zone, and he's gritty in the corners.
I would take Malgin every day over Mason
There's
Marshall.
Who needs this nonsense?
No, I don't like that.
I don't either.
I would rather you button hook up at the
and he
You don't want a guy winning a physical battle down low there,
I don't like it. And he's from the Toronto area. I don't like it.
All right. Stop it.
I don't like anything about it.
Stop it, because Max Pacioretty's playing in that spot tonight, so we'll get to that in a second.
Pacioretty's in.
But
that's true.
The point being is Dallas found a way to get it done. Montreal behind. Edmonton's in one. Like, there's lots of teams. They're down 2-0. That third game is pivotal.
Yes.
Tonight's the pivot game.
It's kind of incredible we're in this situation where you look at the Canadian teams. Leafs up 2-0, Winnipeg up 2-0, Habs down 2-0, Ottawa down 2-0, Oilers down 2-0. Like, can we get a split on any of these Canadian matchups?
What did we say? What was our Jerry's before going into the second round? How many Canadians teams? Didn't you say you were at 2.5?
I think we threw out the total was 2.5. Do you see it over or under?
Dude, I told you before the playoffs started, it's okay to smoke a team. Obviously, on one situation, it might be the Montreal Canadiens that get smoked, and I'll get to Patrick Laine in a minute. But it is okay to smoke a team. Like, if you beat them in 4 or 5, like the Leafs seem to always want to press it to 7. They have these long series. Smoke a team. Get some rest, man.
Well, that's got to be the mentality. If you're in Toronto, if you're in Winnipeg, if you're in Washington, if you're in LA, you have a chance to bury teams. And we'll see. I mean, obviously in this series, one of the teams had to be, I guess, in a situation like this. It happens to be Ottawa. But, it's just a weird first round where you got all the, Florida and Tampa are just playing game 2 tonight, and all these Canadian teams. You're either on top of the world or you're like at the bottom of it all.
Anybody pay attention to Jersey and Carolina?
I have no idea if that series has started yet.
Why do you hate this series so much?
I'm kidding.
I was thinking about it before.
It's 2-0 Jersey.
Yeah,
Everyone
but we're all like,
you got to burr up your ass about the
He just
Devils,
hates
man.
By the way, it's 2-0 Carolina. I said that. You didn't correct me, so don't
did.
pretend like you know what's going on. You've been watching Jersey, Carolina? Tell me what's been going on in that series. I'll quiz you.
Freddie Anderson is actually
Freddie Anderson's been
unbelievable.
I still don't trust him, but what bugs me about Jersey is, you lost Jack Hughes? Like we just talked about, Heiskanen and Robertson out for Dallas, and they're going balls to the wall. It's like Jack Hughes, and all of a sudden it just seems like things folded up in Jersey. It's like, what the hell's up with that?
But they finished with like 91 points. They weren't that good this year.
Dude, that's still a good season. You get 91 points, but it's like, shouldn't you guys be saying we could still win this series? It's like,
and
I don't know.
Maybe they can get back into
That's
it.
the
They're
thing.
going
So-
home down 2-0.
Okay, so it's that narrative. Their third game. Let's see what Jersey has.
Yeah.
You know
And
what
I was half joking, but maybe they should have looked into JT Miller because they need some sandpaper or something. I don't know. That Timo Meier, I used to love that guy. Like he was just this big body who was bullish. And
Who was pushing him around the other night?
Brent Burns headbutted him.
Yeah, it was Burns that headbutted him. Yeah, and he was doing the kind of smile routine. What do you think of Skinner?
Didn't like it.
I couldn't believe he was
I hated
smiling
it.
last night.
I'm sorry. I hated it.
Yeah.
Because I understand what you're trying to do, but it's the wrong time.
Right.
You're getting
getting
pulled.
shelled and you got pulled.
Well, he was getting pulled at the time. They were actually
When was he smiling? When he had his hat on the bench?
No,
So
it
they
was
were cheering.
5-2.
They were like skin
It
or
was
skin.
5-2, and he made a save from the point, and the crowd was going nuts. Skinner. He's smiling. I get it, but I don't get it because it's like, don't give him anything.
Right.
Don't give him anything. And Pickard was already Pickard was stretching out on the bench. So, I think that's the biggest thing is you're smiling, but you're going to have a ball cap on in 60 seconds.
Right.
And I get it. Like I remember reading this article about special play, Wayne Gretzky, Joe Montana and all that. Those guys, when they had off nights, I've seen Tom Brady do it. They kind of is like, okay, I'm just having this ridiculous night. Michael Jordan, you can smile and just kind of chuckle.
Yeah.
Stuart Skinner doesn't. You can't afford that when you haven't played well in game 1 and game 2. You're getting hung out. I don't think he was hung out to dry. You needed a big save.
Yeah.
Like Byfield, that goal. That's the Darnell Nurse. I don't know what the hell he's doing there. Draisaitl is heavy on the body. Bouchard takes the pass away. That's your guy.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Short
There's some
shelf.
blunders on the back end.
Massive blunders. But the
it's
point
bad,
being
man.
is the guy at the other end. Okay, so Ellis.
Kemper made that stop on Hyman that was unreal.
Unreal. And then he gets a favorable bounce because Gavrikov drags it out of there.
Right.
Like the point, this is a play. Look at Nurse. Oh, okay, we're now Byfield, 2-on-1. So
And he
take the
stops
pass
skating.
away. This goes short side shelf. It's a beautiful shot by Byfield.
Byfield's-
Give him
he's
as
showing
much
up, man.
flowers as you want. Like,
Yeah.
unbelievable play. But at some point, the goalie goes, not on my watch. And I'm hard sometimes on goaltenders because you want it. I said about Ullmark and Stolarz game 1. Right downtown, some grade A chances. On the other end, Stolarz made those saves. Skinner didn't do it. Last night, Kemper did.
Yeah.
2 cop.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your paint shade on the Oilers?
I mean, it's bottom row for sure. It's bottom row because it's the goaltending. Now that's a question mark. I'm curious what they do game 3.
Well, I think
That's
they start
obvious.
Pickard.
I would go with Pickard, but
You thought they were going to go with Pickard game
I
2.
thought he might go game 2.
Here's why they're going with Pickard. They gave him 9 free minutes last night. You don't pull him at 5-2. What I thought it was actually a smart move.
Even though he gave up a goal in the first shot,
Matter.
it's game's over at that point.
Game's over. You're getting 9 minutes of free play of like, okay,
Getting the
get this
series.
going, and you're going next game.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at it. Is somebody wired down and said, "Get him out of here." Yeah, you're.
I'm bottom row, bottom left. I'm not at the
I'm
end.
bottom row, far left.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's
Right
right.
in there.
And creeping towards the right.
Yes, because here we said this after game 1. If your goaltending is shaky and your defense, your top pairing is a disaster,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter that you have McDavid and Draisaitl. You can't win like
And
that.
They can only outscore so many.
Exactly.
That team's like LA. People forget LA's a hell of a team.
They're really good.
They're really good.
That is
Yeah.
one thing that everybody is forgetting. They're not giving any respect to the LA Kings. It's like, look at all these screw-ups from the Edmonton Oilers. At some point, you got to give props to the LA Kings
Well,
for being
LA's
a damn
playing-
good team.
That's
They
right.
lost 9 games at home this year.
LA's been playing perfect hockey for the most part. Like, no patient, no time and space. Hey, we've got layers. Our D are mean as snakes.
Yeah.
I mean, that Gavrikov and that Mikey Anderson.
Well, and
they play for
Doughty's
keep-
out there
They play
doing
for
what he
keeps,
does.
man.
Yeah.
But that being said, you've got to clean things up. I think it starts in net where you're going to start Pickard because it's just a different look. Because right now, Skinner doesn't
You
have
got to have a
mojo.
different feel. I agree
And
with that.
then it gets to far right. I mean, if they don't get it done,
Well,
is
you
it
lose
tomorrow?
game 3, it's over.
Now you're not going to win 4 in a
Oh,
row.
you lose game 3, get a new sheet up there with different shades.
Yeah.
Darker,
But
Yeah,
in
it's-
the end, like
runnier.
they just one that drips. Anyways, there's that. Games 3 are so important.
Yes.
Ottawa tonight. Edmonton.
Ottawa's
tomorrow,
gotta have it.
Montreal.
Edmonton, Montreal.
Like Montreal, that place will be rocking. Like I do.
It will
I am
be.
pretty excited to just see the atmosphere there, just because
Because they're
we
playing
know
with
that
house money
building.
as well. They're playing with house money. Ottawa, to an extent, although Ottawa, I think, has been prepared for the playoffs probably since the new year. Like, they were in a good position and felt like they were moving there.
In my opinion, Ottawa was a step ahead of
Yes.
Montreal just based on that. But Montreal, doesn't matter if you're playing with house money. You need, like Patrick Line, you need better plays.
Well,
I
Laine
think
did
Patrick
not.
Laine might be in danger of putting his gear on tomorrow night. I'm telling you, it was that bad, and
So-
he didn't play in the third.
Not one shift in the third period.
But you're trying to win the game and you don't feel that he's the guy that's going to.
Oh, he was horrendous last night.
That's the
He
difference.
was awful in game 1.
That's right, and Marty St. Louis probably gave him a warning where it's like, you were terrible in game 1. I need something out of you.
Well,
And I don't even know who the hell they would have on the reserve to put in the lineup, but to take a guy out, excuse me, that can score a goal when you're in desperate need and sit him on the bench, that's not good
Well,
for him. And I told you guys, he just has gotten so comfortable, and it's like the old Patrick Laine has gotten comfortable, and he stopped moving his feet, and he looks like he just doesn't care out there. It's sad to see.
well,
Yeah,
the
the
other
turnovers were egregious on him.
It
Because
is.
he's not moving.
No,
He's just like,
exactly.
give me a power play and let me take one-timers, and if I don't contribute that way, I'm not contributing, period.
That's-
That's basically what he does.
And see, it's tougher for a coach on the road. You can't hide him. You can't give him that favorable matchup. Hey, we got an icing and we can throw him out in the offensive zone on a draw. Like, that's where coaches are really good at finding a little extra, would I want to line A on in an offensive zone draw with a tired fourth line, something like that?
If he
You
just
might be
had
able
a
to get him the puck.
50% of Marty St. Louis drive, he's
I-
a top 10 player in the league.
I agree.
Like, he's that talented.
But the point being is, on the road, you can't do that. You just
No.
don't get those matchups. So you've got to hide players when they're not going.
Jamie,
You're
I
like,
think it's
could-
the biggest indictment ever on a player where a coach to even use that terminology, I got to hide this guy. Like, it's the NHL and you got to hide somebody.
Coaches say it to me all the time, though. Like when you're just BSing with a coach either before a game or after a game or whatever. And this is regular season, not playoffs. Regular season. So what do you make of it? Man, I got to hide him. I've
Well,
been hiding him the last 5 games.
What do you think the Leafs are doing tonight? They're like, I don't want to have to hide Nick Robertson on the road. And I think Nick Robertson with Max Domi is terrifying on the road
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
Don't get
And
last.
That's why Pacioretty's going in.
But that's
You're trying to hide their shifts.
But what you're also doing is you're
That's
thinking.
great. If a coach ever
Defensively
said to
in
me, I
particular.
gotta hide you, like if he ever told me I'm trying to hide you, I would be mortified.
But it's bad terminology, but I've heard.
Dude,
Hall
everybody
of Fame
says it.
coaches
It's
have
just
said
it's
that
a
to
sad
me.
thing to say.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame coaches have said that to me. Is like, when we played that team, we had to hide this player because 5-on-5 or in matchups he was getting killed. And I'll be like, that player? He's like, Jamie, go back and watch the tape. I'm like, okay, interesting. But I said this yesterday, and I believe it, and I think this is probably where Toronto was going with Pacioretty. You're thinking forward. You're not looking back. So you're on the road, might be more physical. Ottawa might have some more jump, that type of stuff. Bigger body. That's what it is.
Well, and it's also Nick Robertson barely played 9 minutes the first 2 games.
Right.
He's your 12th forward.
Right.
They're not putting Joseph Woll in tonight.
Yes.
They're not taking Marner off of Matthews' line.
No, it's tweaks.
It's the 12th forward for the 12th forward, a veteran guy in Pacioretty who I think he can have more faith in. Plus, he should have some piss and vinegar going in there into a building he's very familiar with. He's got a lot of playoff history. At times this year, he's played with physicality and pace. That's all you're asking for.
Dude, 12 minutes, go out there and run people
Exactly.
over, and hopefully he can score a goal.
Try to draw a penalty tonight and hit everything in sight and pick up your defensive assignment. That's what you're asking for at a match.
Get
match
an
ready.
opportunity, bury it.
Yeah, it's not 2010. It's not you're PP1 or anything like that. You're not killing penalties. You're not doing anything but 8 to 9 minutes 5-on-5
Just
tonight.
trust. That's
Exactly.
What it is.
I don't have a problem with the. I could have spun it both ways. You stick with the lineup. You want to exude confidence, but I also kind of appreciate you're only halfway home. And that is very clear with Craig Berube's approach here. A lot of people have pointed out Mark Savard's reaction
when
to
he
the goals.
jumped and then
These are great. It's great video It's great video because Savard's going nuts.
I never understood how a coach could just be like, no, okay, next guys are like. There's no reaction.
Berube does not react at all.
No, doesn't blink.
It's poised though, but I watched it 30 times.
I think
it's a
great video.
Smarten up type of thing.
We're 10 minutes into the game one here.
Yeah.
You got to settle down. And then Savard catches himself the next time.
Yeah.
But I think that it's a similar line of thinking here where you're 2 games into this journey. The idea that you have anything written in stone is just not reasonable or not factual. And you're going to make adjustments and great, you're in the driver's seat, but you got to go and find a way to put together the best lineup to win Game 3 tonight. And in his eyes, it's Pacioretty for Robertson. I have no problem with that, and I'm curious to see how Pacioretty plays tonight. All right, James Duthie will join us in studio. We've got the Battle of Ontario. We've got Winnipeg, St. Louis. Got a bunch of games tonight we'll continue to look ahead to. Chris Pronger coming up just after 5 o'clock as well. Prongs will join us to look back on the games last night and, of course, tee up the games tonight as well. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4. Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line of the final score. Get to a same-game parlay for the Leafs Sens tonight. I feel like we're going to see a score early tonight. I think we'll see a goal early tonight. I do think Ottawa scores first.
You think so?
I don't know. It's just like the last 2 games, it's fallen right into the lap of the Maple Leafs so perfectly. Things are going to adjust. It's a series.
Eventually.
There's ebbs and flows.
I hope for my dear friend, Mark Mathat's case, that the Sens score first. I had an uncomfortable exchange last night with Mark Mathat from Ottawa.
Oh, yeah? On air or off air?
Do you know how I text and I will say something very stupid and then say, oh, I didn't know you were on this thread?
Yes.
Frank Corrado starts a text chain with myself and Mark Mathat about dinner plans possibly on Saturday night. And I tried to be funny and I wrote, I don't even like meth, to be honest with you. And then I wrote, oh, crap, I didn't realize he was on this chat. And then 5 minutes goes by.
And he didn't pick up on it.
And I'm like, now I got to call this guy like a 15-year-old and explain to him that I do like him and he's my friend.
But you were dinking around?
Yeah, and 6 minutes goes by, and then Frankie sends a laugh emoji, and that kind of broke the ice. But it was so, I was just like, now I got to call a guy as a 50-year-old man and explain,
that's
you are my friend. But I like,
that's a hockey guy.
He would know that's a chirp.
I know, but the silence was killing me. I'm like, I can't believe it.
We're all here. Look at this.
And you're late.
James Duthie.
We've been waiting for you.
Oh, we're absolutely on the air. What, do you think we just talk
I'm
like this?
professional. Imagine somebody doing a panel and going into the
I'm going to do that to you guys.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Hey, how's it going?
What are you guys
I'm
doing?
actually 2 minutes early.
I know. Doogie did say 4:30.
Well, I don't know. I just walked in. Nobody said anything, so I thought you were in commercial.
Do you think we sit here with headphones and the mics and stare and talk to each
It's
other
a
like
compliment
We
to
have
how
practice conversations.
it's a compliment to how casual and friendly you are. That your off air seems the same as you're on there.
This is what we're going to say when we come back on air.
Practice it one more time.
I'm going to start with the FanDuel read. Then you go into your meth story.
And look mad.
Then Noodles make a funny face.
Right.
Exactly.
Good to see you, JD. What's happening, man?
I got a scenario for you guys right off the top I wanted to throw at you.
What do you got?
You know, all the time there's those things online, hole in one, if the ball's halfway out of the hole or whatever.
Or like it crashes into the side of the hole.
So my buddy today doesn't make one, okay? So I'm not going to embellish the story. But he almost made an ace. My first day open at my club. But a couple of the par threes, it opened a little bit early, got a few issues with the sodding. So they're mats.
Oh.
mats on the par 3 tee box. So the same
Right.
thing for you'd see at a range. They just
Right.
put down a little mat so
Yeah,
people
yeah,
aren't
yeah.
wrecking the tee box.
Okay.
But no divots, no anything.
If you made an ace off a mat,
I think it counts.
I just got to say it's legit, but
Yeah. It counts.
Still the length, isn't it? No.
Something about staying off a mat, man. I don't know.
Well,
I
do you have
wouldn't-
to-
I
do you
wouldn't
have to
wanna make
declare
my
it? Would you have
first.
to declare it and say, like, I got an ace, but it was off a mat? Like, is that?
I think
is
if
there an
there's
asterisk?
integrity
Dude,
in it, you
sounds
probably
so
mention that.
20 handicap.
I don't
when you
think
say
anyone would.
It
I don't
does,
think
man.
the person would declare it. And the guy who almost made it has made a few in his life, so that would be okay. It would just be a good story. But if you made your first off a mat,
Yeah, I'd be sick over that.
do you carry that as a weight through your life?
I would.
Do you tell people that in the
I would
story
never
when you
even have
tell them?
told. The fact that he gave that information to you to pass on that there was any kind of mat involved.
No, I was there.
Oh,
I was playing.
No,
I was
the
playing.
worst guy ever to be there. It's on national TV now.
No,
But
it didn't
because of it-
happen.
He didn't
He
get
didn't
the
score.
whole
The
The
one.
whole
He
one
was
did not
close,
happen.
but
saying it was
I was
close.
just throwing the scenario at you to say if it. Sorry, I told you it's not that great of a story. I just wanted to know what you would think if it actually
If you
happened.
got an ace off a mat, is it still?
I
an
wish
ace?
I lied now and said he made it because that would make you happy.
I wouldn't
Yes.
be telling anybody.
I
not a
don't
whole-
think I would, but it would. In the back of your mind, you'd be like, it wasn't legit. You know what I mean? It's like
You haven't? Have you made?
I've never had a hole in one.
You have an ace?
So I would take anything I can get.
You have an ace?
Yeah, with him.
Yeah,
Really?
first one ever with
This
me.
guy saw me get a hole in one, and a week later, Dave Poulin get a hole in
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Within 2 miles of each
Do you
other.
have
That's
any?
amazing.
I have one. Yeah.
You have one too.
Yeah.
I'm the only one.
Off a
no.
mat? No,
No
off a
mat. No
There's
mat.
something about the tee in the air. There's something about you take
Yeah,
it.
but it's
divot.
still 170 yards away or whatever it
Absolutely.
is. So it's not like you propped it up and fluffed it up right up
But
there.
the mat, you may not have made great contact. You know what I'm saying? Like you may not have.
I
hit
don't
it.
like the mats. I would.
Dude, the word mat, it just sounds like it's garbage. There's just something
It
about
does.
it.
The
It's like
mat,
it
it's
reeks of a
choppy.
25 handicap and it's garbage. It's all
Yeah,
trash.
it's choppy. It's
if-
choppy.
Personally, I think it's harder because these little wonky mats they put down the ball. You throw your ball down. You don't tee it up.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're about to hit a couple shots and the ball kind of rolls because the mat's not
I
level.
know, I don't like it, man.
But
So that's that actually should be a chirp. If one of your buddies is like coming up, you go, bring the mat.
that
Bring
is
the
a
mat
good,
for
it
him.
is a good line.
well,
It
they
is
do
a good
that.
line.
I think in like Yellowknife, up in the places where the grass doesn't grow as well. When you go to the golf course, you take this
carry
little
it
mat
around?
and you carry it around and you play all your shots off the mat. There's golf courses. Up
I've
there
seen
like
that. And
that
if they're
is
preparing for tournaments and stuff, they do that
Trash
too.
ass stuff.
They do.
By the way, I would like if I had not made an ace, I would obviously it's an ace.
You'd celebrate,
and it's the
yeah.
rules. Everyone in this course is playing that way.
Very valid.
But I don't think I would tell the story with the mat.
It's just not far off like replacement tees where, it's like this is usually a 160-yard par 3. We're playing it from 90 yards because we're,
Right.
Dude, I
don't know.
I played
Sawgrass
Sawgrass in December, and it's like the tournament's in March.
And they're
You
preparing.
couldn't drive anywhere, not on the fairway, not in the rough. And I wanted to say to these marshals, like, you got
Just
4
relax.
months here, homeboy. Like,
Yeah.
let me drive around. It was awful.
Would you call him homeboy? The marshal?
Whatever. I'd call him something.
How would you describe what's going on with the Canadian playoff series right now where there's none of them are tied?
Right.
You have Toronto and Winnipeg 2-0, Ottawa, Montreal, Edmonton 0-2. Like it's kind of a weird turn of
is
events
weird.
through collectively these two games.
Yeah, I'd feel really uncomfortable if I was all the O's.
Yeah. You're in big trouble.
It is because I was saying this morning. This cliche of a series doesn't start till you lose a game on home ice, I think, is one of the stupidest cliches ever.
Yeah, I brought
Because
it up. I couldn't remember it. Hayes had to remind me.
if you don't have home ice, you could not lose a game on home ice if you don't have home ice advantage and lose the series 4-3. I just think it's dumb because 0-2 is a legitimate hole. I don't care if you're coming back for 2 games at home. And that's not saying the Sens or the Oilers or any of those teams, they may come back and even up the series, but it's a significant hole, and the historical numbers of the amount of teams that come back from 0-2, including the Senators who have never come back from 0-2, show you it's a significant hole. So I don't really buy any of the feel-good stuff when you played okay on the road. Using Ottawa as an example, I don't think Edmonton has anything positive to come home with.
I mean, what
Montreal.
would someone from the Ottawa Senators have to do for you to go down to morning skate for Game 5 and hand over your key to the city and say, I didn't think anything would warrant this? but what you did in games 2 and 3, take my key to the city.
In games 1 and 2?
No. In games
So
2
they
and
tied
3,
it up.
or no, 3 and 4 in Ottawa, like what kind of individual performance would a Sens player have to do
To hand the game
for you to
the city.
say, I want you to take the key to the city?
So they're
You
coming
deserve
back
it.
for Game 5.
They're coming back for
5-2.
Game 5.
Okay.
Like, would it be Allmark?
Allmark 2 shutouts, Ridley Gregg 2 goals and draws 4 penalties. I mean, you're turning me into a fan here for this hypothetical situation. Timmy Stutz goes nuts and has 6 points in the 2 games. I would walk up to Timmy Stutz and say,
It's yours.
here's the key to the city.
Is that what he holds the key in right there?
That's a harmonica.
That's a harmonica that we
You brought it.
we have harmonicas.
Doogie gave us harmonica.
Well, they're
give us
2-0.
Open
Those
that thing
harmonica
up.
ladies, and
Yeah.
they were hanging on for dear life last night. They couldn't barely get the
They were running
the
out of
wind
gas,
through
man.
like they looked like they were dying.
They. I like how they got them Kings jerseys.
I
That
know,
was a
but
good
There's a
change.
few of them that might drop dead there. They're 150 years old.
Well, they got the job
They're
done.
going the rest of the way now.
They have
right?
to.
They
There's,
have to
there's
now.
no.
You know they're rooting against the Kings.
Well, could you imagine if they're like, we need you for games?
Yeah.
Oh, they're
5
all the
or
way to the
top.
7,
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, no, we can't do
There
it.
could be 15 home games if they get to a Cup final.
Gene Principe interviewed them in between periods.
Yeah.
And they need an interpreter. The lady's like,
Yeah, it's
talking
the
to a
Korean
interpreter.
community. I don't know what the story is, but
do you get paid to sing the anthem? I mean, the regular anthem singers
don't
at a
know.
game would
No.
usually get. But
It's
if you
like
get
you're
invited,
promoting your own little thing, man.
I mean, Renee, what was his name in Boston?
Yeah.
rum nose.
Rennie Rencourt?
Rennie Rancourt. He was getting paid. But do you, if they don't get paid, if it was a thing of, just a honor to go do the anthem, but now you're getting into the 3rd round and this your
Yeah.
12th time.
Start pushing
They got
back.
to they got to
Probably
get an
should ask
agent.
for a
The
stipend.
harmonica group has to
You
get
should
an
ask
agent.
for a stipend.
No,
Right.
more than a
For sure.
stipend. You gotta. If the Kings are winning, we're
The
showing.
problem
grand?
is there's 50 of them.
Yeah, you're not cutting.
Well, you give them.
500
We all
bucks
want
between-
$5 grand.
You donate 10 grand to their cause.
Right.
To their, what was it called again? The Korean, whatever it was.
Yeah, I
Philharmonic,
don't know what
but
the whole story
you
was.
donate 10 grand to that. But I have buddies who have sang the anthems at Blue Jay games and stuff like that. They don't like doing it.
No.
Because if you do it well, you're supposed to. You're a singer. If you do it dreadful,
Yeah, you're on a top 10
you're
list
a
forever.
YouTube clip forever.
That's the beauty of A, being in a band, and B, playing the harmonica. You can't really mess that up. Like
you
they're
could just twist up
they're-
anything.
I'll bet you one of them's not playing.
100%.
One of them's up there like, I'm just here for a good time.
Eat the corn
They're
on
just
the cob.
horse-eyeing the person beside them, seeing when they blow into the harmonica.
Right.
It's like one of those kids.
One of them's not playing.
Festivals, yeah. Like,
But hey, it gets the job done. And if you're superstitious, now if you're in LA, you need the harmonicas every single time
Every
they play
time.
at home.
Every time.
All right.
Now, would you kill it if they lost a home game, even if they won the series, or do you keep going until?
I think
they're
it's
out?
until they lose a. If they lose a
Lose a
home game
game,
with the
lose one,
harmonicas,
and now you can bring in somebody.
now you go a different route.
But if they go on a heater,
Yeah.
they can't. You have to bring them back, and you do have to pay them, give them a stipend.
At some point, if you keep
This is the
asking
stuff of
people-
legends if they win the cup.
It
too,
really
right?
is. Yeah. Oh, they're getting booked
They get a
all
movie.
over Beverly Hills, Hollywood. Yeah, they get everything.
They're on all the talk shows.
Becomes a big story.
Jimmy
I would
Kimmel,
think.
all of them.
Oh, yeah.
They're going
Maybe
to
we get them
perform
on
Kimmel.
Canada Day, right? Maybe we need to look ahead to.
Well, I'm disappointed that you got ahead of it because the morning guys, I'll give AK and Carlo credit. They were saying that this should be like our next song, the Bad for Bedard.
Yeah.
Don't Take My Goal Away should involve O and us playing the harmonicas.
I like
But now,
that.
Now it's kind of been
thought
done
that was
already.
I
Well,
thought that was a vape.
Yeah, it
pen
looks
in
like
there
it does
or
look
something.
like a vape.
I don't know how people carry their vape pens or whatever. I thought that was a vape thing.
oh, you see the vapes everywhere.
Have you ever
man.
played the harmonica? Is this talent?
No, what he needs is one of those. Doesn't Burton Cummings have where it's around his
Yes.
neck?
Well, Neil Young,
Like,
right?
Yeah, Neil Young. You
Neil
can play
Young,
the
man.
guitar and then you've got it sitting there. You just lean
Blues
into it.
Traveler. Remember the guy from the
Yes.
Blues Traveler? He
Yeah.
lost all that weight. No one knows what happened to the
can't
guy.
sing, yeah,
They only have that one song that everyone knows.
Run around?
Yeah, it's a great track.
they've got
That guy hammers the harmonica.
He's very good. Very good.
Well, JD, let me put you. We asked you to play the role of a fan. Let me ask you to play the role of a host
Okay.
on Free Agent Frenzy. I'm going to send you into the future.
Okay.
The Oilers get swept. July 1st, Connor McDavid can sign an extension.
Dude, this guy can't stop himself.
What are we not? Are you talking about that on Free Agent Frenzy? What are we talking about?
Well, definitely we would be. I'd probably be 4 of the 4 of the 8 hours or whatever we're on for. I don't think my personal guess is that him and McDavid sort of made a deal that we're staying, and that's why McDavid.
Him and Draisaitl,
excuse me,
Okay.
and that's why Draisaitl already signed, and they've both decided that they're staying.
That'd be quite a
would be my
stunt if
guess.
he agreed with one of his best friends. Yeah, we're going to make it work here, and then pull the rug right out.
suddenly
from under
stop.
it. Said, actually, see you later.
Series is far from over, but it's ugly in Edmonton right
If
now.
he does not sign an extension, I mean, if you thought like the Marner stuff this year, it'll be tenfold in that city all of next season if he does not sign an extension this summer.
There'll be a chopper following you every day.
Well, because Draisaitl got out in front of it, signed a year before it
Yeah.
even kicks in.
Rashog and Struddy in a chopper following McDavid every day.
Absolutely.
Strutty in tight jeans.
But, like, I'll say this, Stan Bowman has not had a good introduction to that market. Like, the moves they
Well,
made.
and when you
Not good at all.
No, it's not good.
And the goaltending thing, and last night wasn't all on Skinner, but you know what I thought watching that and watching certain teams that are having goaltending issues is how great of a signing that Stolarz was. Like for the amount that he's getting paid, and just that's one of the, I'm not going to hold that back. I'm not going to say that. If they go to the Cup final, that's one of the great signings in the last decade. I
Well,
think.
if you look at Tree's, we were talking about it yesterday, though. You look at the people that Tree brought in, Brian, you laid it out. It's Chief, the coach. It's Stolarz. It's Tanev. It's Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Lorenz,
Brandon Carlo.
Carlo, guys like that. But like it's the filling out of the group. And in talking about goaltending, looked at it last night, and let's just do the off season last year. How many teams felt like they needed goaltenders? Jersey, go and get a goalie. Colorado, 2.
Right. Washington.
Washington.
What's Stolar's AAV exactly?
Like 2.1 or something, or 2.8, something in the 2s.
Like in the 2.5 to
this year and
2.8.
next.
It's ludicrous to me. And I know he wasn't proven as a starter and all that stuff, but when you look at his size and just how solid he looks, I just can't believe there wasn't more of a bidding war.
Well, finally, something's changed for the different. Instead of having a guy that makes double-digit millions, it's like have a guy that makes 2 that plays like he's worth 10. That's a nice change of pace for the league.
It is.
Absolutely.
And he's got to still continue to prove it. Like,
Yeah,
First
let's
road
not
but
game
the point
tonight.
being, it's very, very
Well,
value
he's
for
already earned the 2.8.
for the value of the
beyond
contract,
that.
100%. But the biggest thing too is, when you look at some of the deals that were made, I think there was a bigger marketplace for Stolarz, but he might have chose the situation
Right.
because he probably could have gone to other teams. I would think, and just from talking to people throughout the league, I know there were other teams that were interested in his services. Put it that way.
Yeah, I was just
But he,
watching that game going,
chose this
put him in the way he's playing with Toronto in the Edmonton net. And not necessarily would he play that way. Edmonton has got defensive issues and so on and so forth. And
You put anybody there that has been at the top of their game playing better, it just looks different.
Yeah.
So
Jimmy,
it
what do you
feels
think
different.
the white jersey count is going to be in the building tonight? White or blue?
I think it'll, what is it, 20,000 there?
19 something. I thought I read they sold 19.
Oh, we'll ballpark it at 20.
I think
Round it
it'll
up.
be 14-6 Ottawa.
Okay. So
Which-
that's like 70-30.
And I think a Saturday night game in the middle of the season is 50-50, 10-10.
How did you get to 14?
I don't know. I was going to say 15-5, and then I threw an extra grand there.
Well, I think I saw, was it Cyril Leader that was doing
Yeah.
an interview, I think, this morning? And, like, they have tried their hardest.
They
to
went out of
make
their
sure
way.
Ottawa Senator fans are in the
Right.
building tonight. And they're going to do whatever they can. But you're seeing it already. Like, these are all anecdotal, and it's all stuff online. You never know if it's true or not. But people are like, I'm going, and I said I was a Sens fan.
Yeah, you can't-
And it's like, Leaf fans are going to find a way to
Stop
get in.
people.
You
Like,
can't
this is-
stop them from
this
getting
is,
in.
This is all conjecture for people outside.
Yeah.
Like if I
But it
Brady
is a
Tkachuk-
priority for the team, though. You can't overlook that. Like they have legitimately tried to keep
but the
Leaf fans out.
The team is happy to be in the playoffs, and the team should be excited to afford their fan base, the people that have signed up for season tickets and that. You're the priority. If you want to sell your tickets, that's up to you. I mean, that's ultimately, if people pay a lot of money for season tickets, regardless of who you are, it's your right to sell them. If you want.
Absolutely.
So if you feel like, hey, I can pay for something or you're going to do something, yes, they would like to discourage that, but in the end, like it's Ottawa's trying to build that fan base up, and my understanding is that they've gotten even more season tickets signed up, even at the end of the season. Like people, they've been growing it.
I might be naive. I don't think it'll be the typical games where you hear the Leaf fans.
I don't think it will be either.
I don't think it'll.
I don't think it will be.
Yeah.
The Leaf fans are going to be there, and they're going to be loud. And what you get is when you get Leaf fans on the road, they're particularly loud because they take on the challenge.
Right.
Like they understand. Okay, we're in the minority here. We're going to make sure you hear us. So they're going to be loud. They're going to be scattered around.
Be a good atmosphere.
It should be a very good atmosphere.
Mike Fisher, it's a line that's been used before, but it was the first time I heard it was from Mike Fisher when he was back with the Senators, and I think maybe I was still reporting on them in Ottawa, and they were playing the Leafs in a big Saturday night game, and I said, "What's the key?" And he said, "Score early, take the crowd out of it."
Yeah.
And I know it's been used a ton of times, but it made me laugh.
It is a good line.
we used to say it when I've been in some buildings where, in Calgary one time, I know in early 01 when we were struggling, put it that way.
And the Leafs came through town?
No, it was Vancouver. Vancouver travels pretty well. And we're like, all right, take the crowd out of it. I remember getting scored on. It was like, "Rawr!"
Yes.
You're like, oh, are we at home or are we on the road? But it happens.
It's tough. It'd be tough for like the Brady Kachucks if it is louder than I'm guessing that it will be for the Leaf fans.
It would just be
it's
so
tough.
disappointing. It's like you get your home ice advantage.
And
it's all
if you
waiting
if you're playing Tampa, it would be 99% Sens fans.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just that it's the Leafs, or if it was the Habs.
In the end, like you got to.
There's nothing you can do.
There's
but
nothing you can do, so I wouldn't worry about it if I was a player. On the outside, the business side and that's what you worry about.
Yeah. And I wonder, I doubt it because it's been so long coming for them to get back into the playoffs. But being down 0-2, is there a chance some people said, all right, I'll sell? Like if they're up 2-0.
I don't think so.
Are you keeping
No, they haven't had playoffs.
If it was,
in 8 years.
if it's 0-3, then people that hold
like
for game 4, I would think that's possible.
That's a good point.
But I know enough Ottawa people and Sens fans have been waiting for this. They've been starving for this for a long time. And
you deserve
down
it. You're a
0-2,
fan.
they want to see them play in the playoffs.
They should.
A lot of people thought that they could have won game 2. Like you got it to overtime. And
it went to overtime, exactly.
But I mean, like that's they're going, okay, what are they going to follow this up with?
Mm-hmm.
And talking to people from Ottawa today, they're like, I want to see, do they go one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
Like that's really how it. Because they pushed back in the third and had a
they pushed it to overtime, man, and it just ended quick.
Put it this way,
3 minutes into overtime.
It's not really comparable, but when they made the Cup final in 2007, they lost the first 2 games in Anaheim, and Game 3 in Ottawa was one of the most electric games I'd ever been at as far as the loudness of the building. Again, this wasn't playing the Leafs, it was playing the Anaheim Ducks as far as crowd, but that was one of the loudest crowds I'd ever heard.
All right, well, let's get to it. We'll see what comes of it tonight. All right, guys. JD, we'll catch you on the panel. You guys are crushing the postgame, too.
It's called the Hot Zone.
I noticed
everybody,
that.
We know you have to watch the game elsewhere, but when the game's over, you just flick it over to the TSN.
Come on over
you get
to
to see the
TSN.
O-Dog talking about the game for a half an hour.
That's right. All
breaking
right.
down the numbers.
The Hot Zone.
arguing with MJ that Ridley Gregg didn't do
expected goals.
All right. Just save that hot stuff for the Hot Zone tonight. Don't get carried away.
And Mike Johnson, I'll tell you what, he's a pretty smart cookie. Like you get some arguments, I just kind of shut up because I'm like, that guy won that argument. He's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah, I've gone a couple rounds with Johnny over the years.
Yeah.
You just have, you know what? If you're stubborn with your position, stick with it.
Absolutely.
He picks up everything, Johnny. The other night when Marner, I know we got to go. The other night when Marner got cut with the high stick, he's like, stay on the bench, do not come out, because if they don't call it a 4,
That's right.
then
They can't review it.
They can't review it. And as soon as Mitch comes, and you think somebody on the bench would have said that.
It's
but
a
as soon
great
as
point.
Mitch sees blood, he comes out. It's a 4 review.
That's when I
no
privately
penalty.
said to myself, I had no idea.
If it's a 4, you
and
can
he saw
review.
it from the first second. He's like, don't come off the bench. Don't
That's
come off the bench.
exactly what happened. All right, JD, we'll catch you tonight on the Hot Zone.
Thank
There
you,
he
boys.
is, James Duthie.
There's always some pizza out there.
Yeah, Boston Pizza's in the house. I don't think there's anything left. Doogie and JP
All
have
the
been
pigs are out there
doing
just
their
going
thing
to
out
work.
there.
It's crazy. Like we're
can't-
in here working. There's
We'll
going to
bring
be
it in. We'll see
shrapnel
what's
out there.
left. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 on the TSN app. All right, so tonight is a big Boston Pizza night, as we know. It's as big as it gets, really, when you consider all the Stanley Cup playoffs. Luckily, the Jays are playing, so you don't have to waste your time with that.
Yeah, we got to get into that.
I was watching the game last night. I was sick watching it. It's a carbon copy
Of last year.
They had 9 total hits in the series. They get swept, 9 total hits, and Ernie Clement got them one on a pinch hit last night in the ninth to push it to 9. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm pissed off because I missed the Harmonicas. I didn't see the Harmonicas live because I was watching the Jays go down in flames. But they're not playing. But you got the Leafs in action tonight. You got Winnipeg in action tonight. Boston Pizza's in the house. We have Doogie Pritchard in here as well. And Doogie's going to be a bit of a prop for us because Boston Pizza's come out with the Atomic Hot Streaker, which is, I guess it goes without saying, it's a wing sauce that would set your boiler into a. You'd be in Kitchener.
Doogie, take a deep dip and try that. And I want.
He's going to have a problem here. And he's going to puke on me or something.
I'm worried about you being in the kind of Doogie range there. But Boston Pizza wants, they're supporting the Canadian teams, and they're looking for a good streak here. We're looking for as many Canadian teams to go on a run as possible. I like this support.
What are you feeling right now?
A great Canadian restaurant. Great Canadian company.
It's good. It's hot.
Yeah.
But you like this type
But you're
of
okay. Like, are you cool with that kind of stuff?
Yeah. It's pretty good.
You think it's going to get worse with time?
Might.
Get in there again. You got to do one more dip.
One more
dip.
Give us a real good dip.
Get right in.
Aggressive dip.
There you go.
Oh, my God.
Doogie. Look at the eyes on Doogie. Doogie is seducing people at home with the Atomic Hot
Streaker. You look great, buddy. You look great. You should be in commercials trying wings.
You know what I need from you, Doogie?
Woo!
Next hour you come in with the Philip Pritchard gear.
Yes.
And we have more wings.
Yes, you have a wings.
Philip Pritchard
with the
gloves on.
With the white gloves on.
With the gloves.
And we bring it over the top.
And then when you're done, you do a little harmonica song and you leave.
I love it.
It's like it's Carrot Top all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to find different ways to use you. You don't have a lot of range, but we'll find something for you, Doogie.
So are you in a place where you're like, that's hotter than I...
No, it's really good. It's very hot.
Starting to get there.
It's extremely hot.
And JP probably loves that because now you get to go sit beside him and breathe on him for the next 2 hours. Okay. Well, shout out to Boston Pizza.
Yes, thanks,
our
BP.
favorite spot. It's the place to be, of course, for the playoffs. And we're rooting for all these Canadian teams. Thanks again to Boston Pizza. We'll continue with this into the next hour. Doogie Pritchard will be in here eating wings about an hour from now.
And a harmonica song.
And a harmonica. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.